Hello and welcome back to the Airtime Rush YouTube channel, where today we're carrying on with our Planet Coaster 2 series, Adventure Isles. Now this is episode 4, and in this episode we are going to be building a pretty big roller coaster. It's an RMC. If you don't know what RMC is, it's basically the company that makes it, Rocky Mountain Constructions. They normally take old woodies and kind of turn them into these new hybrids. You can get different ones as hybrids. There's fully wood ones. They do all sorts. To do like a single rail one, but we're just going with the standard hybrid version here. If I was going to compare this build that I'm doing with another roller coaster in real life, it'd probably be like Zadra at Energylandia, which is also an RMC. The height of this one I've gone for is about 52 meters, which is roughly 170 feet, I think. So it's not super tall. This is located at the back of my Viking Norway area. So I didn't want it to be too imposing, but I wanted it to kind of work as a bit of a block, because behind this area is going to be the next land that we build, which is going to be, originally I was going to have it as the western area, like American western town, but I've actually gone with a China area, so it's going to be Chinese themed, which I'm really looking forward to, because there isn't any sort of theme in the game to help build like Chinese buildings, so I'm going to have to do a lot of research into like the buildings over there and what they look like and the sort of style that they are, and see if I can use some of the other pieces and build this amazing area, which is going to have a hypercoaster, a B&M invert, it's going to have a flat ride, and it's going to have a little junior dragon coaster as well. But going back to this build, layout, what I do, I never really plan my layouts. I kind of go with the hill, the lift hill, I go with my drop, and then everything else I just kind of fit it into the area that I want it to be. So with this one I kind of know I wanted it to be quite long and not quite a large. I didn't want it to take up too much room, so I wanted this quite out and back kind of layout. So here I'm actually doing a stall. So think of Zadra Energylandia, that's got this amazing stall over using the same support as the actual lift hill as well. It looks absolutely incredible. I think these look great, and this is going to actually be the entrance way into it's not a mini land, but it's like a sub land where the entrance is to this ride, the exit, and the gift shop as well. But yeah, I'm just kind of going with the flow. I don't actually know if the coaster is going to make all these quite tall elements and stuff like that, because I haven't run a test. But first I build it all, and then I can always go back and like move the height up and down if it doesn't make it. The thing with the first game, you could change the friction multiplier, so it basically had less friction, so it would go faster throughout the layout. But in this one I don't think you could do that, and if you do, I think it applies to all your roller coasters, which isn't really what I want. But anyway, spoiler, it does make it. A few tweaks I do, but yeah, it does mainly make it. But you can see here it's gone back on itself, and now I'm going back this way because I had a bit of land next to the train station over to the right of the screen there, which I thought I'd use. I think I'll go back and change a little bit of this because I wanted it to use a bit more of the space, because otherwise it would just be a big empty bit of land. But this would be fantastic because you're really close to the water, you pop it up and down, and then you go past the train station. Yeah, I go a lot more further right with this. Eventually you'll see in the final thing of it all. But I love the layout. I really do like it. It's realistic. It's what an RMC would probably look like if this was real. And it's compact. I really like it. It's all really compact and neat. And yeah, I've not really built many RMC coasters, not even in Planet Coaster 1, and obviously it's the first one I've built in Planet Coaster 2. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm still kind of playing with the layout. And I think it's actually pretty realistic with the amount of inversions, airtime. If you look at the stats of a proper RMC, it's pretty bang on with quite a few other RMCs stat-wise. So I was pretty happy with that. But going back to the actual area, I'm really happy with how the area looks. At the end of this video, we will go and have a little tour around it. There's a first-person camera that I absolutely love, so we'll go in first person, we'll have a little tour around, and you'll be able to see everything we've built in these first few episodes, and I'm really happy with how it looks. It's one of my favourite areas I've ever built on a roller coaster game. It's fantastic, it really is good. It's not too unrealistic, because I think a lot of these parks I've been watching of other YouTubers, they just go in all theming, and theme parks aren't really like that, bar maybe Disney, Universal. If you look at Busch Gardens, they've got light theming. I like to say that this is, it's light / heavy. I don't know. It's on a bit of a weird scale where it's not too realistic, it's not too unrealistic, it's just about right, and it's just what I wanted really. I didn't want it to be too much where you see people build all these rock works and stuff like that, and it just looks a bit too much, I think. Yeah, I think it looks a bit too much. And in other news as well, guys, I have upgraded my PC. So the beginning of the next episode, I think the first few minutes of that one I recorded on my old PC, and then from then on it's going to be on my new rig. So another good thing is as well, I've got ray tracing on my new graphics card as well, so we'll be able to do dark rides, actually dark. So I'd love to go back and show you guys the water ride as well. So that'll be absolutely fantastic, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to. I've not actually received it yet. I've ordered it. Should be in the next few days, and I'll carry on building my park and getting the videos out for you guys, because you seem to love them. So I just want to say thank you for watching these videos. Never done anything like this before, and I'm definitely going to do more because you guys seem to be loving it. In the future, I'm thinking maybe an indoor water park, indoor theme park. Just any suggestions you guys got, maybe like a movie themed park where each land is filmed, like actual films and stuff like that, and maybe even video games, a bit like Universal, that kind of thing. But this is the first POV of what we've got so far. It is sped up, by the way, guys. I think it's ×2, so it isn't actually this fast. But this is a rough idea of the layout. I like that inversion there, it's really cool. And that's the stall that I really wanted. This element changes. You see there, only just makes it. I do end up changing that a little bit. You got another nice little stall bit there. I think there's another inversion there I put in. Some nice banking. I like this element here, where you go over the other piece of track, and then round into the brake. So that's more or less the same layout that it ends with. But you can see here, this, I wasn't happy with this, because I did have it going into a bit of a barrel roll, but when I smoothed it, it kind of deleted that. So, yeah, you see here, I'm going back in, trying to get that roll back, because I did like that roll, but I don't even think I kept the roll. I think I changed it. Did I change it? Yeah, I think I did. I think I've got some sort of other element which really worked, and I kind of went with that. Also, you can see here on the lift hill and the first drop, I've deleted the supports, so I'm going to put in a framework support, just like Zadra at Anigelandia is going to have a massive metal frame. I just think they look really cool, and I think the wooden supports look a bit too... I think it just fills it a bit too much, if that makes sense. So I wanted it to be nice and open, not dominate the skyline. So with this arch, it looks quite elegant on the skyline. I don't know, I can picture it in my head how I want it to look, and you'll see by the end of the video what I got. And I think I got it bang on. I think it looks really good. So yeah, carry on watching for that, because I've never done anything like that before. To be fair, I've never actually done any custom support work. I think I did like the tiniest bit in Planet Coaster 1, but like in the last video, the last episode, you saw me do the dive coaster. That was the first for me, and I think it looks great. So I thought the actual wooden supports on this look pretty good. There's a few areas I might add a few more like wooden beams and stuff like that. It could do with like some reinforcing, but that main lift hill, that's where I put most of the work in with this this metal framework. And with the stall in front of it as well, looks absolutely fantastic. Again, I wasn't too happy with this end bit, how it connected, so I just thought I would have a nice little pop of outward bank airtime, and then round back into the brake. But it's quite hard, like lining up the ride with the brake when you want it to be bang on. You don't want it to come in too snappy. You want it to kind of like nicely roll into that brake run, and that's why I was like struggling with mainly here. You can see I'm pretty much lined up here, but I do end up going back, and this doesn't stay. Yeah, I think that turn is a bit too tight, so in real life, the force on that would be too much because it's so tight. So I ended up just having it how it was, but better banks and stuff like that. So moving on, here we go with the framework. So I used it's just one piece, I think, of metal. I put them together into this frame, saved it as a blueprint. I just found that easier to select it, and then I moved it into position. And now's the hard bit, trying to line it up with the lift hill. You see here, I'm just trying to move a few pieces because it wasn't lining up to the actual object. It was lining up to the world, so you had to it's quite hard to explain. Basically, you have to move it around a lot more. You can see there I'm well off with it, so I had to select it again. And every time I selected it, I ended up selecting the roller coaster as well. So when I was moving it, I was moving the roller coaster as well. Yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare. So I thought I'll put them all in one piece like this, select it all, and then move it all in one piece, so I know it's all in line that way. You see I'm going back deleting that because it was just wasn't lining up very well. It was just taking too long. So yeah, select all that and just move into place, make sure it's lined up perfectly. And it actually made me just be able to get it more precise to where I wanted it. And it works out a lot better doing it that, so I'm glad I did that. I love custom supports. I think they look great, but they are very time consuming. They take a long time. But I definitely recommend, if you're doing a project, you may as well do it to the best of your ability. And I think take your time, get it right, get it looking good. Yeah, you could probably build a theme park in a few days if you just bang in all the prefab buildings that are in the game. You don't do any custom support, you don't do any proper theming. You could put laws into a park, but it just wouldn't be the same. I think the more effort you put in, the more time you put in, the better outcome. That's how you get good results out of this game. Just time and effort, really. Don't rush things. Back in the day in Planet Coaster 1, I used to always want to open my park straight away. I'll build a roller coaster. I was like, right, I need to open it. I need to see what the guests think of it. I want to see the guests queuing for it, and then I'll build the rest of the park when the park's open. But now I'd rather build it all, or at least build most of it, and then open the park, just so they've got a good few rides and a good few lands to explore. And then you can maybe even do it you can have it open, and then you can build a few new lands, and then you can advertise it as, this new land's open, which is more realistic, really. You can see here I'm doing the support for the stall, which I wanted it to kind of come off that main support. That's the whole idea of this. And I'm, again, really happy with how this turned out. I think it looks fantastic. You can see just how much better it is having this support system than the actual wooden supports. I think the wooden supports just would have... I think it would have casted quite a big shadow over this whole area, made it really dark. So I'm really happy with how open it looks and how airy it looks. That's exactly what I wanted to go for. And it works perfectly. Really like it. I think it's great. Looks good off-ride, looks good on-ride. Yeah, love it. I also want to say thank you to everyone on the last video who commented names. Shout out to Harry Drake, you came up with some really good ones. So, the RMC that we're building here, you came up with the name Berserker, and I think that's fantastic. I really like that. For the upside down flat ride we have, Fenrir, I think it's called, which again, really like. I think that's some sort of wolf. Is it like a hellhound kind of wolf thing? Again, I kind of googled what they actually are. Yeah, I think it's some sort of giant wolf which takes over the world. The thing with Viking themes, a lot of it has been done before. Like, I obviously want Valkyrie for the dive coaster, because that is, in Norse mythology, that is the guardians that come down and help in battle and stuff like that. I don't know. I did a bit of research, but obviously that's a ride. And then you got Jormungandr, which is the massive beast, like a world eater kind of thing. Again, that's been used at Drayton Manor, so I couldn't go for that. So I was like umming and ahhing about names, struggle for a bit. So I'm really glad that you guys came up with a few. Really appreciate you for that. The small boat ride that we've got, I came up with the name Drakkar for that, which is a Viking longship, and that's kind of the theme with the big mast in the middle. That's kind of what I wanted. So I think Drakkar, is it Drakkar? Again, Drakkar. The pronunciation of these are really hard, but I think that sounds really good. But Berserker, I absolutely love Berserker. I think that suits this ride perfectly. So thank you so much for that. I also came up with a name for the dive coaster as well, but I've forgotten it. So when we're doing the walk round after, I've actually done big entrance signs for all the rides, so I'll be able to have a look at what I called it then. Um, I don't even know what it stood for. It was something like a healer or something like that, like a goddess of healing or something like that. It might have been like the name of one of the actual Valkyries, Valkyrias, whatever they're called. It might have been one of the actual names for one of them. So yeah, we'll find out after. But here, I love what I did here. So originally I was going to have like a station fly through with an inversion going over the station. But then I obviously saw this going over that, and I needed a kind of like mini entrance into this mini land where the entrance is for the ride. So I thought this would be perfect. A nice little walkway. The queue goes right past the ride there, and then you got this inversion going over the top of it as well. So it just worked out perfectly, really. So I'm really happy with how this looked. It was quite hard to actually get the clearing right to make sure that it's realistic with the actual inversion going over. Make sure there's enough clearing if people have got their hands up. All that. I do need to add some netting in there, because if you see a lot of theme parks underneath some of the roller coasters, you'll see netting. A lot of people are like, what's that for? But it's actually for loose articles. So if anything falls off the ride, hats, glasses, coins out of pockets, phones, keys, anything like that, the net will basically catch it. So with the queue being in there, I thought I definitely need some sort of net going in there. I put quite a lot of netting around the dive coaster, because there's a few times it comes quite close to the queue and the pathways and stuff. So throughout the area there is quite a lot of netting. But going back to the build here, we're building the station. Again, when I'm building buildings, I just kind of go in with the main walls, and then I go in theming the walls up just so they don't look bland. Didn't really have much of a theme for this ride. It's basically, I think Berserker it's either a sort of weapon or a sort of warrior. So I'm thinking like on the battlefield, lots of swords, axes and stuff like that. You basically go into battle, and that's kind of the theme of this one. So I just thought some sort of like armory, great hall kind of thing, where the elite get ready for battle before they head out to battle. That's kind of the idea I went with this. I like the idea of it being on a bit of a mound as well, so that's why you saw me put a bit of a hillside in, just to make it look like you sat on top of this, like, maybe like, if you look in some Viking villages, they'll have like the main king's or the leader's house will be quite high up on some sort of mound, and then the rest of the village houses around it. So that's kind of the theme I was going for with this. Again, the end result is absolutely fantastic. I really like it. This building here that you saw me building there, right next to the brake run, that's the maintenance shed. So again, I want to try and keep it realistic. So I thought, yeah, have a maintenance shed. I do go back, I put some doors on it, so basically it'll have like a shutter on it, that the shutter will come up, and then the brake will slide into that building, and that's where they'll do the work on the trains and stuff like that. They'll probably just do one at a time and then put it back on, park it into the station, and then put another train in there. I think it only runs 2 trains this ride, so yeah, pretty happy with that. Again, the dive coaster's got maintenance area as well. I want all the roller coasters to have these maintenance areas, and the flat rides as well, to be fair. I want some sort of, it needs to be able to be accessed by maintenance and stuff like that in the closed season. It needs to be easy to get to, and also I'm putting like quite a lot of background areas in for staff. So behind most of the main restaurants, there'll be staff paths where staffs can go. I normally put staff rooms in these areas just so the staff go behind there, so it looks like they're going to do a bit of work behind the scenes. And I'd also have like bins and stuff like that for all the rubbish that comes out of the restaurants and stuff like that. So here, theming up the queue line as best as I can. For a while, I didn't know how to get rid of the railings, but I do know now, so I do go back and kind of get rid of the railings and put some custom ones in. I want it to be all wooden, because Viking, it was mainly wood, weren't it? I love these big spiky posts. I think they're great. They act as a really good post for the fences. Again, it does take a bit of time. It does take a bit of time to do this, but it's definitely worth it to put in that extra time because it makes it look so much better. So before it was just obviously a floating staircase, and now I'm putting in these railings and stuff like that. It just finishes it off so well, and I'm really happy with how it looks. And while I'm building all this, I also want to say a massive thank you again. I think I've already mentioned it, but thank you so much for watching this series. I really do appreciate it. It's really grown the channel. We've had a lot more subscribers, so I really appreciate each and every one of you who's clicked that subscribe button. There's so much more to come, and also I hope you all had a fantastic Christmas as well. This video will be going up just before New Year's Eve, so again I hope you have a fantastic New Year's Eve as well, depending on whatever you're doing, spending it with family, friends, whatever you're doing, enjoy it. I do like New Year's Eve. It's one where I never really go out. I just kind of just like being with my friends and family and having a few drinks, having a few party games and stuff like that. It's a good old time, isn't it? But I've had a fantastic Christmas, and this new PC is a bit of a present to myself, because I knew, to be fair, I was actually recording the videos and it started like lagging a little bit. I was like, oh, this computer's not gonna... The more detail I end up putting into this pack, I just knew that it just weren't gonna cope with all the stress and stuff like that. So I thought, now's the best time. I need a better computer. People are really enjoying the video, so I've gone for it. Gone for the new computer. So yeah, hopefully the future videos will be a lot better quality as well. It's like, I think I put a POV of the RMC towards the end of this, and you can see just how laggy it is. It is pretty laggy. But yeah, hopefully with this new computer it won't be. It'll probably still be quite laggy, because again, it's quite a demanding game the more stuff you put in, so it will still be, but it should be a lot better. Here you can see this little door that I'm putting in. To be fair, I need to go back and put a bit more detail on that, but I do like how that looks. And I do put like some sort of railing. Is it a railing? I don't really know what you'd call it, but basically where the mechanism underneath the track that would slide it over into that maintenance area as well. So I do put that in. But yeah, just working on finishing off these fences, putting a nice little wall in there. And again, it's just all about the fine details, going back, putting all the foliage in as well. You'll see in a bit that I actually put quite a lot of planting around this area. I didn't want it to be too much, but I wanted it to be like, so it looks like it's not as maintained as the rest of the park, with it being a bit of a behind the scenes kind of area. With it being like in the coastal area, you kind of see them overgrown a bit more than like in public areas and stuff like that. And this bit here, this grass here, there'll be no reason to really keep it looking neat, because it isn't really seen. So yeah, it's like Wicker Man. A lot of where the actual Wicker Man track is, it is very overgrown, but to be fair, it kind of works as well. You don't want it to be neat and tidy, because, you know, Wicker Man, the theme and stuff like that. Same with Vikings. Vikings weren't cutting the grass and gardening, were they? Not in the sense that we do in real life now, but yeah, back then it wouldn't have been something to do. So I kind of like that rough, overgrown kind of look around. And I absolutely love these that I'm putting in. These are fantastic. If I was ever going to do a Wicker Man rebuild, like remake, I'll definitely use them. They're a Wicker Man, them cloths. But I put them all over this area. I just think they look fantastic. So this part here is where you'll come out the exit of the ride, and there'll be a photo booth. So that's what I'm building now. Again, kind of trying to figure out how to do it. I want it to be open, so that's why I deleted them 2 walls. Again, I don't know what buildings to put in. I maybe put in a drinks one and a hats fantastic, whatever it's called. Connected them up, and then it's just all about putting in walls, just making it look more complete. I did try to put that path in, but obviously because it's a slant, it wouldn't all connect, so I had to delete that. And I just thought, you know what, I'll just put in some sort of like false wall kind of thing. That's the thing I love. You can split from the building and you can just put in walls like this, which just finishes it off, but it also just tidies it up as well. So I was really happy with how that looked. Just making it all neat and tidy, just moving a few more pieces around. And then it's also about going back and putting all the finer details in, like the columns. I need to put a sign saying photos, and also like a no entrance, sorry, on the exit bit there, just so people don't go up that path. But yeah, pretty standard building really, just copy and paste the roof over there, and it does its job. It doesn't have to be too much. I think it looks really good though. So you walk under this pathway, which I absolutely love. I love the look of that. I think it's really good. And the queue you can see over here, I've started the queue as well, so we will be going back, finishing off that queue area as well. Going back to the building, again, it's just all about finishing the main shell of the building, putting in what I need, and then finishing it off with all the finer details and stuff, which you'll see here. So I like just putting columns on each edge. So each joining edge of the walls, I'll put in like a wooden column. I do like these finishes as well. They finish the roof off really nicely. And also on the roof, I like the overhang as well. I think that looks very Viking as well, so that's why I always put them in. It just makes it look a lot less boxy, and I don't know, it just gives it personality. I think that's the main thing. But you can see here, this is where I like, because I've got this rock bottom and then the wooden top, there'll be some sort of foundation that's built upon that. So that's why I put these wooden bits in there. And then, like I said a few minutes ago, I like putting these wooden parts just to define the edges and just make it look a lot better than just a boxy building, which it technically is. So yeah, just about copy and pasting them over. It's really, I love the copy and paste on this, and I love the resize as well. I do use the resize a lot. It would be nice if you resize something, say if you want something to be longer, it will also make it fatter as well. It'd be nice if you could resize it so you could either make it fatter or longer, or instead of doing both at the same time. Because there's been a few times I needed something longer and it just makes it really wide and it just doesn't look realistic anymore. I think it was actually one of these pieces that I was putting in here. I wanted it to be longer, so instead of making it longer, I just end up using multiple ones and just piling them on top of each other, which, yeah, it works, but yeah, it's a shame that you can't rescale it like that. Hopefully they might change that, because obviously it's new for this game. Hopefully a future update they might do that. Talking about updates as well, there's also been a new DLC. I think there's an extreme spinner, there's a Vacoma family launch coaster, and maybe 2 or 3 flat rides as well. Again, I don't think it's what we needed yet, and it is like £10. I think it's like £10. I'm not too sure. I weren't planning on putting any of them rides in this park, so I'm not going to get it yet. I probably will get it eventually. I'll wait for it to go on sale. Yeah, there's still lots of things we need from the first game, to be fair. I really don't know why they didn't put in the basic themes like Western and Pirate. Spooky I can understand, because that was a DLC, and it probably will be a DLC again. Well, they all probably will be a DLC again. But I would have preferred to see some sort of scenery pack before we got this new ride pack. I think that's what the game needs. And also iron out the bugs. I know they have done a few like hot fixes, and it is a lot better. To be fair, I've not really had that many issues with it. I think the main issue I had was when I was building the indoor log flume, and I found out that I couldn't have it dark because my graphics card wasn't good enough. I kind of felt like they didn't state anything about that in the advertisement or anything like that. So that left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. But apart from that, I've not had any crashes. I've had a few errors come up with the autosave saying, oh, we can't autosave at this moment in time. Literally, that's all I've had. I've not really had that many issues. I've had issues with the select tool. I've had issues with pathing. Pathing's still quite difficult. I might actually do a video on pathing, because I tried, the other day, I tried to find out how to get rid of the railings on queue lines. Something really simple, but I just couldn't figure it out. In the end, I played around with it and I managed to do it. I watched a few videos though, and they were just all very vague. It didn't really help at all, so I might do a pathing video. Again, I'm no expert, but I am learning, and I think that's the main thing. It's a new thing, and it just takes time. Like everything, it just takes time. But I'm really happy with how this is looking. The station, I don't know, I just kind of look at what I've got and just put random stuff down. You can see I'm just putting a lot of barrels down just to fill that area, and yeah, it works, but it looks a bit barren, really, a bit empty. So I'm just literally just putting random stuff in here. and there's no logic behind what I'm putting. I do put a few swords down because, like I said, I want it to be a place where you'd rest and get ready for battle. So that's kind of the idea I was going for. So I do put some. I think I put an axe and a sword on, and an anvil as well. I think where you can sort your weapon out before battle. But I don't know if it's the fact that this is a very open room. But there's just something about it that I feel like I need to go back and change a few bits. So maybe I might go back and just have a little tinker with it. But yeah, this is the bit that finishes it all off. The trees, the rocks, the bushes, all that sort of stuff. It just makes it look so much better. Literally just copy and paste a load of stuff over. It doesn't have to be like different bushes as well. If you could just spam the same one, as long as you rotate it so it doesn't look, when you zoom out you can kind of tell if you copied and pasted it all. And then I really like these look really like abandoned. It looks like nettles, and that's sort of what I wanted from that area. And then this is the staff path, so this is where maintenance would go to get to the maintenance bay of the ride, to do all the work on the ride and stuff like that. So I like this because this runs right round to the flat ride in the main area, as well as the big eating hall as well. So it all connects, which is what you want for your staff path. You want it to all connect just so staff can get around easily. And the good thing about this, only staff will go on these paths, so that's fantastic. I think that's a really good move. And I love what I did here. I love these gates. Obviously, the gate's going to stay closed. And the staff will just walk through it, but I just think it looks great. I think it looks really realistic. So now we're gonna have a look. You can see it is very laggy here. I'm moving it around. It is very laggy, but we're gonna go in first person and have a look around the area. So from the entrance area of the actual park, you come to this. I don't know what I'm gonna call the area yet. So you walk under there. You got your toilets there, which I think is needed right near the entrance / exit if you're walking out that way. You've got this food and beverage area. I think I'm going to call it Odin's Table. You've got all your fast food there, really. Some benches. I like these little benchy areas that I've got. And just look how good that dark ride looks from the outside. That's called Ragnarok River Run. If you want to watch the POV of that, it is in the second episode we did. So make sure you watch that out. And then you go up here into the next area. I like how this big area is full of like tiny areas. It's all different layers, different areas, but yeah, you got this little area here. You got toilets there. You can just see the top of the dive coaster and the flat ride as well. I thought that was fantastic. We've got this wishing well here as well, which I built, and then this building here to the right, that is the exit to the dark ride. So you come out onto this plateau, and then you got two ramps down to the main bit. I like this one because it's like a bit undercover. And you got some really good sights there of the dark ride. Come down here into the main village area. Got the train on the left there. You got the fantastic view of that dive coaster. And then we've got the flat ride here, which is called Fenrir. Thank you so much for the suggestion, Harry. Really appreciate that. But yeah, I really like this ride. I like how you can customize them so well. It just makes it look so much better. Oh, I just love it. I just love it so much. And then that is the other path down. So back up there is up to the exit of the dark ride. It does get very close to the path there. I might need to put some sort of netting in there. But just look at that view there. You've got the dive coaster and then you've got the RMC. This is the name of the dive coaster, Hraðlgr? I don't know. But it's basically like some sort of winged goddess, I think. So I went with that. I thought it sounded quite cool, and I like that sign I made as well. But just look how good that looks. It just looks really realistic as well. That is what a dive coaster would look like in a theme park. Not too themed, but just fantastic. You can walk all the way underneath it. That's the exit. You got your photos there. Through here, this is all staff area. I just thought I'll show you guys that. There's no gate on that though. I might put a gate on there. Again, just look how good that dive coaster looks. And this is the netting that I was talking about, just over like the low points of the ride. Again here, some food and beverage, some vending machines, right underneath the drop there. Oh, I love it. I really do love it. And then we got Drakar is it called? Which is a Viking longship. Again, that's the little family flat ride. Again, I'm so glad I put this in. It definitely needed it. So yeah, it was fantastic. That really, really happy with it. Sits perfectly out of the way as well. But really nice all the landscaping and all the plants and stuff. Yeah, love it. And then round here, got the mead hall, which is where this is the main eating location. There's plenty of options in here. Really like the look of this. Probably do a bit more work in here, like theming wise. I just love how that dive coaster is just on top of the area. I think it looks great. And then you've obviously got this little walkway, which goes back to the flat ride Fenrir. And then, what we've been working on this episode, got the RMC. Look how good that looks though. I love that structure. I really do love it. I think it looks fantastic. Look at that. It's so good. It is so good. Wow. So yeah, we'll go under here. Got some more picnic benches there. You got this little building here where the ride passes twice. Obviously you got the queue that goes there as well. Got the photos. Get your photos there. £7 bargain. And then there you go, Berserker. This is probably my favourite view of it there. Oh, look at that stall. That is absolutely incredible. Oh wow. Yeah, I'm so happy with it. And then I put this little building in. This is like the divider into the next area where the train runs through. I really like it, so I'm going to put a trigger in so the lights turn on when the train's about to go past, so people know when to stop, basically. I know in the game they'll just walk through it, and that's fine. But yeah, I really like that. And then this is obviously the entrance to the RMC. Really nicely landscaped again, get some fantastic views of that first drop. So guys, I'm going to leave you with a POV of Berserker. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.